And, the whole thing is about inflammation and its negative effects on the body. So anything we can do to reduce that, whether it's dietary modification or whether it's supplementation or whether it's meditation, there's a lot of Asians we can throw at it. It's kind of what is the focus of your clinic? What is it that you're offering them that they're not hearing from their MD, and the MDs out there, I apologize for making an assumption because you're here. But for the most part, the medical profession doesn't address these things in the way that our practitioners do, directly and effectively, whether it's with nutrition or some of the other, suggestions that we'll have coming up here. There are many ways to affect the network, if you will, because, what is the body but a network of networks?
Just an all interconnected networks on a network relaying information about the network, right? So
exactly.
That 5 times fast. And so this kind of gets into the kind of almost the philosophical, I guess, distillation of what a good diet in terms of neurological health. And this is what, kind of the 4 main key points to hit on whenever you're looking and creating a diet or a program for an individual that is looking to foster that neuroplastic environment. And so I'm going to term this the quote unquote mind diet in terms of what we would be looking for in terms of supporting that individual. And so these principles include omnipotent omegas. So that includes a rich, biodiverse kind of plethora of different omega-3 fatty acids, or really just the 2 omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA. That is to help to support overall structural integrity and synaptic fluidity within the brain to really create an environment where it is able to adapt very proficiently, right? We'll actually go into the conversation of omegas here shortly. I'm also going to say you're looking for a multiverse of micronutrients for cognitive health. So that is looking at a bunch of different stimulating and enriching factors from a multitude of different foods. If y'all were an attended my kind of webinar on gut health, right? It's really looking in terms of gut health strategies, having a very rich, biodiverse, different food sources, right? Because that's ultimately going to stimulate a very healthy microecology within the gut. Well, that same kind of philosophy in terms of micronutrient density does apply to the brain as well. And so when you have a rich, very diverse diet, you're going to get a lot of different xenohermetic molecules or micronutrients that ultimately could translate into brain health or nourish different organ gland systems that then, of course, translate into brain health as well. When we talk about that neural network, it's so important that we're not just focusing on factors for the brain. We want to go into the liver, we want to go into the cardiovascular system, we want to go into the adrenals, and so on and so forth, and optimize digestion as well. There's a whole topic in terms of the brain-gut axis that we could dive down into tonight. But to kind of simplify it in regards to neurological health, it is that multiverse of micronutrients just to make sure that we are stimulating different pathways in regards to neurological health and synaptic fluidity, as well as structural integrity. The next would be kind of the key factor in regards to neural pH, are just making sure that we as clinicians are looking at the pH balance of the client that's coming into the office. That kind of distills down to, if you're not familiar with our kind of philosophies here at Premier Research Labs, is making sure that they're getting appropriate mineral supplementation or minerals in their diet. That is very crucial for buffering capacity. That also goes into the overall energy levels of the body as a whole. But of course, we know probably as clinicians that, the efficacy of the nerves, right, to actually have neural transmission is dependent on the sodium-gated ion channels in regards to just the depolarization, the repolarization of those neuronal fibers. And so making sure that you have optimal mineral concentrations where they need to be, right, is basically 101 to make sure that you have proper neurological health and you're actually able to think, fire, execute, and act appropriately once you do have those quantum thoughts, right? And then kind of the last and final point would be biodiverse hermetic stressors, right? So looking at different lifestyle factors, lifestyle augmentations, right, that ultimately create a system or cultivate a system of what is anti-fragility, which essentially means that the body is able to handle stress very well, right? We as a, if you look at the society as a whole, we're a very stress-averse society. And so You want to encourage lifestyle augmentations. That could be time restricted eating. That could be looking at different cold or heat exposure, right? Exercise as another one. Really tough mental challenges or puzzles, right? That ultimately encourage the body to be more adaptive in terms of those neural networks.